Welcome to the first of a new series on video, and this is called Stories of Jesus. I've been looking forward to doing this with you. We're going to be looking at stories about Jesus and stories that Jesus told. We're going to be basing this on a book in the Bible called the Book of Luke. Now, if you've been watching my previous series on journeying into prayer, you will know that there is a Bible that you can read in your own language if you would like to. And I'll just make that available to you on the attachment that comes with this video. So you'll need the new Gideon, or rather the Gideon Bible app, and you can find an electronic version of the Bible in your language. And you'll perhaps know that the Bible is in two parts. We have what's called the Old Testament and then the New Testament. And we're going to be looking at stories of Jesus in the New Testament, and it's actually going to be the third book of the New Testament, which is called the Book of Luke. And so all of the stories we're going to look at will come from this, the Book of Luke. So the first one we're going to look at today is in chapter 5 of the Book of Luke. And if you've got it in front of you there, you'll see, hopefully you've got this attachment, and you'll see there the link for downloading the Bible in your own language. So the first thing I would suggest that you do is just pause this video, find in your own language Luke chapter 5 and verses 1 to 11, and just read that, and then that will give you some sort of understanding of what we're going to read together in English. So I'm going to assume that you've done that, and now let's have a look at this together. So it says, Jesus calls his first disciples. Luke chapter 5, verses 1 to 11. One day, as Jesus was standing by the lake of Gennesaret, the people were crowding around him and listening to the word of God. Now, Jesus, you can imagine, they're on a beach by a lake, and Jesus is standing by the water, and people love to hear him teach. He was a very good teacher. People love to come and hear him speak. And so where it says there, listening to the word of God, that's talking about Jesus's teaching. So then it says, he saw at the water's edge 2 boats left there by the fishermen who were washing their nets. So these fishermen had finished their work for the day, and they were just washing their nets ready for the next day. And it says that he got into one of those boats, the one belonging to a person called Simon, and he asked Simon to put out a little from the shore. In other words, just to push the boat out a little bit, and then it says he sat down and he taught people from the boat. So we can imagine we're on a beach by a lake, by a very big lake. Jesus is in a boat just maybe a meter or so away from the edge of the water, and he's sitting in the boat, and all the people are on the beach and they're listening to Jesus teaching. And then it says, after he had finished, it says, when he had finished speaking, he said to Simon, one of the fishermen, put out into deep water and let down the nets for a catch. So he's saying, right, come on, Simon, let's go and catch some fish. We're going to go out into deeper water. But Simon answered, Master. Now that's a term of respect. That's a term of respect to Jesus. Master, we've worked hard all night and haven't caught anything. But because you say so, I will let down the nets. Now he's been very respectful to Jesus. Jesus is not a fisherman. Jesus doesn't know as much about fishing as Simon does. And Simon has not been able to catch any fish that night. But because an important religious teacher is saying to Simon, I think we should have another go at catching some fish, Simon says, okay, well, because you say so, let's go. I'll let down the nets and let's see. When they had done so, it says next, when they had done so, they caught such a large number of fish that their nets began to break. So they signaled their partners, quick, they called all their friends, help, we've got so much fish here, we can't cope. They signaled their partners in the other boat to come and help them. And they came and filled both boats so full that the boats began to sink. Now, Peter's amazed by this, of course. You know, he hadn't been able to catch anything. But this religious person has said to him, I think we can catch some. Let's go out and catch some. And then they get all these fish, so much that the boats are full. But look at what Simon, and his name's actually Simon Peter. Look how he reacts to this. When Simon Peter saw this, he fell at Jesus' knees. In other words, he fell down like he's bowing down. And he said, go away from me, Lord. I'm a sinful man. Now, that's an odd thing to say, isn't it? Why would he say that? Why would he say, I'm a sinful man, get away from me? And you see what Simon has seen a miracle. Simon had not caught any fish at all. A religious man, a holy man, has said to him, I think you'll catch some if you go now. And they catch so many that the boats are full and nearly sink. And Simon realizes, oh my goodness, Jesus is not just an ordinary person. There's something very, very special about Jesus. And he realizes that he's in the presence, he's in the same place as somebody holy, somebody from heaven, somebody from God. And he realizes, oh no, I can't be with you because I'm a bad person. Simon says, I'm a sinful man. That means he realizes that he's done things wrong in his life, perhaps. Maybe he feels guilty about some things. Maybe he knows he's not a perfect person. And he thinks, oh my goodness, I'm with a holy man here. I can't be with you, Jesus. I'm too bad person. I can't be with a holy man. So he says, get away from me, Lord. I'm a sinful man. For he and all his companions were astonished at the catch of fish they had taken, and so were James and John, the sons of Zebedee, Simon's partners. Well, let's read on. Jesus says to Simon, look, don't be afraid. Now that's interesting that he would say that, don't be afraid, because Simon obviously is saying, oh, get away from me, you're a holy man, I can't be with you. And maybe he was afraid that this holy man would judge him, would maybe punish him for things that he's done wrong. But Jesus says, don't be afraid. From now on, you will fish for people. He's asking Simon to join his team. He's asking Simon to be a disciple. Now, to be a disciple 2,000 years ago in Israel, in Jesus' time, was a very common thing. It was a way of people who were religious teachers often had students, if you like, students following them, listening to their teaching. And so a disciple is a kind of student. And he's saying to Simon, come and follow me. I want you to be my disciple. From now on, you will fish for people. You're going to help me, and you're going to help me find people who will listen to my teaching. He's inviting Simon to be a student, if you like, to be a disciple. Now, this is unusual because most religious teachers would look for the best people, the brightest people, the most intelligent people, the successful people. But here, Jesus is choosing somebody who's a fisherman. You know, that's not a high level job, and it's somebody who's already said that he's a sinful person. He's done things wrong, he's done bad things. But Jesus says, no, I want you to be one of my students. And that's one of the things that we find out in other stories that we're going to look at, is that Jesus calls everybody, not the brightest or the best necessarily, but Jesus wants everybody to be part of his team, to be a student of his. And he doesn't push anybody away. He invites all of us to be part of his team. So it says, lastly, they pulled their boats up on the shore, left everything, and followed him. Now, I would encourage you to read that story again sometime. Maybe when you've finished watching this video, maybe read it again. And there's a few notes here, a few bullet points there, some of the things that we've already talked about, just to help you understand the story a little bit more. But what we'll do today with this video is I've got some questions here, and it says to think about. You might want to just take each question and pause the video and have a think about them. It's up to you how you do it, but here's a few things just for your thoughts. So the first question, what do you think when you hear the word sin? I wonder, what do you think about that word? We're going to find as we go through this series that sin can mean all sorts of things. It can mean when people feel shame. It can be to do with feeling guilty about something. But what do you think of when you hear the word sin? Or here's the next question. Do we know what Simon is feeling guilty about? Now, actually, I can help you answer that. We actually don't know what he felt guilty about. All we know is he said, "Oh, get away from me, Lord. I'm a sinful man." But he doesn't say what he's feeling guilty about. We can only try and guess. But he knows he's done some things wrong. And then the next question is, well, what sort of things do human beings feel guilty about? I wonder how you would answer that question. What sort of things do human beings feel guilty about? Think about maybe what makes you feel guilty sometimes. And then the next question is, well, why do you think we feel guilty? Where does that come from? Did we just come from nothing, and it's just the way we've evolved? Or did God make us that way? Did God make us that way so that guilt is something that is part of us to help us to make good choices? We feel guilty when we make bad choices, don't we? But maybe God put that in there to help us make good choices. But why do you think we feel guilty? What's your opinion? My next question is everybody sinful? Maybe you can answer whether you feel you're sinful. Simon realizes when he's with Jesus, oh my goodness, I know I'm sinful, I've done things wrong. I wonder if you were to be with Jesus today, I wonder if you would feel that you've done things wrong. I know I would. I know I've done things that I'm ashamed of or I feel guilty about. Is everybody like that, do you think? Or maybe just some people? And then, what sort of things are sins? I wonder what kind of things you would say. What sort of things are the things that we feel guilty about? Jesus is calling Simon to a new life. He realizes that Simon has done things wrong. There are things he's ashamed of. But rather than pushing him away, Simon wanted to get away from Jesus. But Jesus doesn't push him away. In fact, he calls him to a new life with him. I wonder What would a new life look for you? If you have things that you feel guilty about or that you know you've done wrong, I wonder if those things could go, if those things could be taken away. What would a new life look like for you? Well, there's a prayer that we can pray, and one of the things that we learn in the Bible is that Jesus has the power to take away those things that we feel guilty about, to forgive them and give us a new start. And if you want to, there's a prayer here that you might like to pray when you feel ready. And it's written here. It says, Lord, I'm sorry for the things I've done wrong. Please forgive me and come into my life. Please help me learn from you. If you've prayed that prayer and you know that you really meant it, would you do me a favor? Would you maybe just throw me an email and just let me know you've done that, just so that I can know to pray for you and pray for God's help, that you continue to grow in your understanding of God and Jesus. All right, well, thank you for joining me. That's the end of Stories of Jesus, session 1, and I will look forward to seeing you next time.